Hey everybody, today we're talking about BRZRKR. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent and today we're talking about BRZRKR. This is from Boom Studios, who's the guy? The guy from The Matrix, Keanu Reeves, Matt Kint, and Ron Garney. I guess this was like something that it was a Kickstarter or something like that. Keanu Reeves is involved. They credit him as a writer, not just a story by credit. It says created by Keanu Reeves, written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint. So I'm assuming he's co-writing the thing. I picked these up from the library. This is volume 1 and 2. There's 3 volumes if you want to get the whole story. I think fortunately for you guys, in the month of July 2025, there's a lot of BRZRKR on Comixology Unlimited, so that's how I read the 3rd volume, which actually does wrap up the story. These kind of operate the way that the Valiant universe in 2012 was operating. They're like 4-issue story arcs. They're very short, and there's really like no way to read one and not want to read the other. Volume 1 does a pretty good job of introducing you to the concept of this BRZRKR, this guy who's been around forever, and literally forever, like 80,000 years ago, from the time of the cavemen to now. Just is unstoppable in battle, has a healing factor, that rivals Wolverine's, and even if he gets disintegrated somehow, he just comes out like out of an egg, similar to the Krakoa stuff that's going on a couple years ago. And, just continues to have a lot of rage. And he goes berserk, like that's his thing. He just gets really angry, gets really rageful, and just has to destroy everything in sight until there's nothing left to kill. And then his rage kind of subsides. So you have a lot of that storyline mixed in volume 1 with a little bit of like a modern storyline. Like this is more of like there's a guy destroying things in the modern world, hence the guns and all that stuff. You see maybe some arrows, a knife. But most of Volume 1 does take place in the past, where you're exploring his very early days and origin, even though you do get a lot of violence in the modern day. Like, this is a book that does not, not for the little eyes, basically. It's very, very violent. Volume 2, you get a little bit more of his history and what he is in terms of, how is he created? How is he around? What is his purpose? That kind of thing. Because there's a scientist, Diana, who's working with him in this government lab to kind of unlock his true potential, his power, his memories, and things like that. Memories going all the way back to when he was a baby, which is kind of weird. And you also have some more modern or missions and things like that. These missions never really matter. He's just a guy that the government goes and sends to kill people. And so what really matters is his origin story and how, he wants to be able to die, to become mortal because he's tired of living. I feel like most of these immortal being stories kind of have that twist to it. And then Volume 2 ends, and it's like, all right, well, we're going to go do some more. So I was like, well, that was unfortunate. And then I looked on Comixology Unlimited. Fortunately, they had Volume 3, which is 8 through 12. And I read that one, and that wraps up the storyline, I think, pretty nicely. Would this make for a good movie or series? I think that was probably one of the pitches, like, hey, I have this idea, I want to do this. I don't know if it's certainly a vehicle for Keanu Reeves, Untue is his name, and he certainly looks like Keanu Reeves, like Ron Garney's drawing him to be Keanu Reeves, basically. But I don't know if Keanu could do it right now. Like, this is a very physical role. And if he's saying about John Wick 5, I don't think my knees can handle it, I don't think your knees can handle becoming BRZRKR, unless you change the story a little bit and make him less berserk. So that's interesting. But, if this is something that Keanu wants to do is create stories to produce for other people, certainly I think this is certainly a vehicle that would be fun to watch, right? In terms of a movie or a TV show, whatever you want to call it. I had a lot of fun reading it, honestly. This was a nice break from the very plodding and slow 80s books I've been reading with the Man of Steel, and the Superman stuff I've been reading is very uplifting and emotional, and this was just boom, here's some violent comic books for you. So that was fun in terms of a breath of fresh air. So if you've been reading some cerebral stuff and want something just to hit you with some uber violence or whatever, check out Berserker. I think it's pretty neat. There's also a volume of Berserker Bloodlines on Comixology Unlimited. I read that also. That was pretty cool. It's like 2 one-shots that take place in his past history that's not mentioned in the 12-issue overall storyline. Written and drawn by some other people. I think Steve Skroce from the Matrix films does one of those with Atlantis. That was pretty cool. And then there was another one about some lost desert civilization that ultimately, disappears off the face of the earth because, we have a guy that has to kill everybody. So that was cool. So I think these are fun. They're not the best comics in the world, but they are fun to read. So I got them from my local library. Maybe you should check out yours. Again, this is the Summer of Library independent books that Brent is reading. Just because I think it's an easy way to get into something that you don't have to spend money on. You don't have to take a flyer on anything at the library. You can read it, love it, and return it. And then if you really want to purchase it, you can do it that way. So that's another good way to do it. So anyway, let me know if you guys have read Berserker and Keanu Reeves' other stuff. If he's written anything else, recommend it to me down below in the comments. And I will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.